In this example, we're starting a fictional company called Craig's Christian Nutrition. The idea is to offer nutrition and dietary services to the Christian community. Let's assume for a moment that this is a for-profit business. We have already put a marketing plan in place, an advertising plan. We've done thorough research, and we're going to determine both the initial expense and the ongoing monthly expenses to start and operate this business. Let's assume for a moment we've totaled all of our initial expenses from licenses, permits, fees, legal work, filling out all the business paperwork, and getting registered as a business. We've determined it's going to cost us $500 to start our company. We'll make a note on a piece of paper or a spreadsheet that our initial expense is $500. We also determine that all of our ongoing operating expenses, utilities, rent, mortgage, taxes, all of these things will add up to approximately $300 per month. So again, our initial expense is $500. Our ongoing monthly expense is $300. We determine that it's going to take 6 months in our business before we're able to turn a profit and start accounting for our expenses through our sales. We multiply the ongoing monthly expenses by 6 for 6 months, and that equals $1,800. Again, $300 per month times 6 months is $1,800. Therefore, our ongoing monthly expense for the first 6 months of operation is going to total $1,800. If we take the initial expense of $500 and add to that the expenses ongoing operating of $1,800 for the first 6 months, we see that to run this operation of Craig's Christian Nutrition, we would need $2,300 to successfully start and operate this business until we're able to turn a profit. Now let's get down to the nitty-gritty and talk about the actual paperwork you'll need to file to start your business. Obviously, you can't operate your business until you've started it, so let's talk a little bit about the paperwork required to file and form and start your business. Each particular business structure will have some sort of required documentation. If you're a corporation, it's an article of incorporation. If you're an LLC, it's the article of formation. If you're a sole proprietorship, you'll probably just need to fill out a master business application for a master business license in the municipality in which you live. Either way, you will have some sort of licensing either at the state, county, city, or local level. This will typically be the bulk of the cost of your starting the business, your licensing, permitting, and start fees. Typically speaking, forming a business structure such as a corporation or an LLC will range in terms of state, county, city, and local licensing fees between $100 and $300. Before you start your business, to actually be in business, you may be required to have some sort of specialty licensing. This is obviously the case with doctors and dentists and attorneys. They each need a special degree and a special license issued either by the federal government or the local municipality that allows them to do business in the industry which they plan to do business. If this is the case in your business, you'll need to line up that specialty licensing either before you start your business or while you start your business, depending if it's legal to do so. You'll be able to find out the cost, either an estimated cost or an exact cost of that licensing, by contacting the licensing authority responsible for oversight of that license. Again, some of these special licenses for Washington State are listed in our resource guide coming up shortly. You may also be able to find some information online, or if you go back to your research, you may have spoken to somebody who has similar licensing and can be able to tell you how much that licensing costs on a yearly and ongoing basis. Taxes are another issue that you will have to arrange for payment of during the starting and operating of your business. Some states, like the state of California, have a minimum $800 a year tax for any type of corporation or business structure that you have, regardless of whether you do any business or bring in any income. Other states, like our state, the state of Washington, don't have a minimum business tax. Therefore, you could operate your business very inexpensively, whether or not you bring in any type of income or revenue. You'll want to make sure, whatever state you plan to operate your business, that the taxing authorities don't charge a minimum tax. If they do, you'll have to figure that into both your initial and your ongoing capital needs. Another tax you'll have to be aware of is a city business tax. Some cities will charge you based on not only the number of business you do in terms of revenue, but also the number of hours you and your employees work. Others will tax you on items you have in your store or your office, such as the value of your equipment, your computers, your fax machines, your desk, things like that. Others still will charge you a sales tax. If you're selling products, you may have to charge the local or your state tax rate to your consumer. You don't necessarily have to pass on that tax to your consumer, but at the end of the year, you will have to pay sales tax to the taxing authority. And if you're not passing it on to your consumer, then that tax will come out of your profit margin. Regardless of what those costs are or what the taxes are, you'll need to establish your company and start an account with the taxing authority. Your city business taxing authority may require you to register with them before you start your business. The state may also require you to set up an account with the excise tax board to handle your sales tax. The federal government will also require you to have what's known as a EIN, or Employer Identification Number. This sets your business apart from your Social Security number and establishes you as an employee. All correspondence from the federal government will go to the EIN that you have arranged with them. This is a very simple process. It can be done for free. It can also be done online or over the phone, and it takes just minutes to fill out. Another tax that you'll have to think about, especially in the state of Washington, is your B&I, or your workers' comp. B&I stands for Business and Industry. It's also known as L&I, Labor and Industry. And it's a tax based on the amount of money you make and the amount of hours that your workers work. If you are a single person entity, if you are the sole owner of your corporation, or if the principals of your company are only its shareholders, if you have no other employees than the actual principal, shareholder, directors of the company, you can apply to the state to be exempt from B&I or workers' compensation taxes. This might be able to save you several hundred to several $1,000s per year. Again, in the back, at the end of this presentation, you'll notice some web resources by which you can make that application. If you're a business that accepts Medicaid or Medicare or some type of private insurance, you'll need to set up accounts with those companies. Some states also require that you have your own insurance, and you may need to set up accounts with your own insurance company. You may also need to set up an account with the state or local taxing authority to accept these types of insurance payments. You may need to be registered. This may be a step you need to go through before you're able to start accepting payments from patients or clients who use that form of payment. Of course, you'll want to look into this. You'll want to do some research online and call the proper authorities in terms of setting up these accounts. The list we've put together here in terms of licensing, taxes, workers' compensation, insurance, and business structure are just a small list. Again, going back to your initial planning, you may have recognized that you need other licensing, or you may have to account for other taxes, or you may have a specialty license that are required, and it may take some time before that license is issued. It also may come at a certain expense. In doing your planning, you may have identified these things, and you'll want to account for them. Of course, our list here is not the be-all, end-all list. It just gives you a few things to think about in both the planning of your business from a research standpoint and also a capital standpoint.